Noble Eightfold Path can be divided into three groups: morality group, concentration group, and wisdom group. If you observe precepts, you have the morality group covered. And if one's exert effort to develop mindfulness and concentration, it covers the concentration group. The act of aiming the meditation object precisely and knowing the result or the experience is the wisdom group. Buddha has taught us how to practice full foundation of mindfulness, body, feeling, mind, and Dharma contemplation with ardent energy. You practice those full foundations with ardent energy to overcome covetousness and grief. So the key word here is ardent energy, in Pali called atapa, ardent energy. So one should know the word ardent energy, atapa. And another one is, or another word called right exertion. Right exertion. You are applying the energy. Right exertion. In Pali, it's called samapadana. And then there's another word, right endeavor, in English. In Pali, it is known as samavayama, one of the Eightfold Path. Samavayama, right endeavor. We casually translate it as right effort. Easy to say, easy to understand. So there's an ardent energy, there's a right exertion, and there's a right endeavor. Samavayama. But if you put another word, samavayama megginga. Megginga is path. So basically, it is the right effort that one applies towards the path, noble path. Just a little definition, trying to, so to speak, split hairs. And in here, the key word is effort. Okay, effort or exertion or endeavor. So what is this right effort means? Right endeavor means as we are practicing full foundation of mindfulness, we need to know what right effort, right exertion, or right endeavor means. So one is exerting, you're applying energy, you're exerting, not to arouse unwholesome actions that has not arisen to arise. That is how it is written. Basically, to make sure that no unwholesome actions that you haven't done before arise, comes up. That if you want to do that, it can be taken care of by observing the precepts. 5 precepts, that's it. I'm sure none of you have killed or steal or have sexual misconduct, making big great lies and drugs. If you have never done that, make sure that you will never do that by observing precepts. And if you have broken one of them, at least make sure the other four never arise. If you have broken 2 of them, make sure the other 3 do not arise. That's kind of exertion is the right exertion. That's one. Second one is exerting, applying effort. Okay? Not to allow unwholesome results. Okay? Not to allow unwholesome result of the unwholesome actions of the past life. That has arisen to arise. So in here, in these statements, it doesn't only contain this life, from the moment you are born to you die. It is not that what you have done in this life, what you haven't done in this life, that's a part of it. But this second part goes to the past life. Past life we have done a lot of karma, good actions, bad actions. Okay. Good and bad karma, good and bad actions of the past life. And it is always manifesting, producing result in this life. Every moment, those results are manifesting. Results, vipaka. They are manifesting. Okay. Just to have a general idea, if you are born in a country like Canada, you will have a lot of most secure, safe, nice environments and nice, pleasant situation, mostly. If you are born in a war-torn country in the Middle East or Africa, you will have a lot of exposures of unpleasant, insecure, unsafe. Those are the constantly producing the result of the past life karma. Even in a war-torn country, some people will have a a little easier life than the other. That is the result, vipaka, happening in this life of the past karma you have done. So keep that in mind. This transcends both this life and the last life, and you will also see it goes to the next life. So as they are always manifesting into good result or a bad result based on what you have done in this life, and how we choose to react these results, or how we choose to knowingly take care of, engage with these results at this present moment, is you are making a new karma for the next life. So one need to know that way. It is not just one moment and done. Past life actions produce result. Generally where you were born, or in here too, whether you are rich or poor, what kind of difficulty you face, not to face. But you are always facing something, good situation, bad situation, and you respond to it. That response is a new karma that you are creating, which will produce result in the next life. And of course, sama immediately. Okay? You're hungry, you eat, your stomach full. Cause and effect right away. Sama immediate, sama delayed, sama a lot longer delayed to the next lives. So one need to understand that if you want to understand this right effort. But one can overwhelm the present moment with the wholesome deeds, wholesome speech and wholesome actions, thoughts, or engage with mindfulness. In other words, you have a choice. You can engage most of your time with good and wholesome thing. Good deed, good speech, good thoughts. Okay, you purposely design that way. Or simply mindful as much and as long as you can. That means you are overwhelming the moment or moments with the wholesome actions. That one, you have the choice. You can do, or you don't have to do. And if you engage with these wholesome actions and mindfulness, right now, what you're doing is you're creating wholesome environments around you. And these kind of wholesome environments are not conducive for the bad result to manifest. They are more conducive to good result to manifest. Okay. Simple one. You have a rich, fertile soil in your garden. A lot of plants will grow healthy, strong, fresh. If your soil is very bad, sandy, no nutrition, water can't contain, hardly any good fruits will go. Anything that comes will be just lean. not that great, or sometimes we don't even have any fruits. Same idea. Wholesome environment is a rich soil. Unwholesome environment is a bad soil. In a bad soil, weeds and thorny bushes grow. In a good soil, fruits and vegetables and greens can grow abundantly. And that, it's in your hand. It's within your power to do. Now, we are talking about, number 2 is exertion, not to allow unwholesome result to arise, that has arisen to arise. Because you don't know what is arisen or not, and how can you know that, what is arisen? Give you example. I put into 2 divisions. One is the habitual. Look to your habitual patterns, and another one is one-time significant serious events. 2 divisions. Okay. Habitual, you all have heard that some people are, we call it kleptomaniac. They just steal. It's not you want to become rich or great or things like that. They just can't help. They steal and steal and steal. It's become a habit. And that habit is arising because of past actions, past life actions. That is the result that has already arisen. Or some people are simply short-tempered, a lot more so than the other. Oh, that guy, don't go touch it. Short-tempered nature. That is the result of the past life actions. Or some people, they just swear and swear and swear, like automatic, like a machine gun. Every word they say is with swearing. That is the habitual pattern arising, the result arising of what you have done in the past. These are the habitual bad results that is already arisen. So if you are mindful, if you are aware, okay, I have an urge to steal. Make sure you don't steal. That means it won't arise again. Make a determination. First of all, you must be aware that you are doing it. Secondly, you must have a determination to stop it. So there are many ways, antidotes there. That's one thing. Another one is serious cases. So in general we say we have a wholesome environment, creating wholesome environment so that bad result will not arise. But still, most of the time, good results are produced, bad results are not produced. But in the past lives, we have done something quite serious that hurts and harms others very badly. In other words, serious offense. Serious offense. Just like in the law, manslaughter, or first-degree murder, second-degree murder, third-degree murder, based on the intensity and intention. Just like that, there are some events that you have done so big that even if you are trying to live with the wholesome environment as much as you can, they still pops up and they produce result and you will suffer. It can't stop because that power is stronger. But there's a good side to it, because you are doing the good deeds right now, good actions right now, keeping the good, wholesome environment right now. That also promotes past good karma, the result of the past good karma to arise. They are very conducive. So, some good situation arises, and then that good situation soften the blow of the bad, serious situation you are facing. Just to simplify that, you're getting into a big trouble at your job, a new job, doing new project, new things, you are not quite sure, you are in a very stressful situation. That's really bad, more than the other. That's the result of the past actions. You are having it. But at the same time, you have done many good things, and you are keeping a very good and sound environment in your mind here. There pops up somebody who will come and help you, go out of their way to help you, to make your life better. See? Good actions do not cancel bad actions. Good result do not cancel bad result. They operate on their own. You have a full force. But when two are operating side by side, one can soften the other. That's the result of keeping a wholesome environment. So that is the second type of right effort. The third one, the first two is both unwholesome. Unwholesome that you haven't done, unwholesome that you have done. And 3 and 4 is with wholesome, exerting to arouse wholesome results of the past life, wholesome actions that has arisen to arise frequently. Wholesome actions that you have done, let's say in your past life you are a very generous person. You have donated many things, material, service, advice. Because of that, in this life you have the similar mindset. And you are in a situation that you can donate. That means that has wholesome results arisen from the wholesome actions. And if you are aware of it, aware of means wisdom. You know exactly what is happening. You know why is it happening, cause and effect. Knowing, aware, consciously aware. That is wisdom. So, this is happening. I must keep on doing it and do and do and do. Wholesome action that has arisen to keep arising. So, what we do was, we do these wholesome actions. What are they? Okay. In general, dana, sila, bhavana. Generosity, morality, and meditation practices. In here, I like to go in a little deeper. Dana. There are two kinds of dana. One is called Buddha Dana, and one is called Vibuddha Dana. Buddha Dana is you are doing generosity, but it promotes, it is dedicated towards the rounds of rebirth for the better existence, to become a deva, to become a rich man, to become a great intelligent man. That kind of intention is there. Those kind of things are generosity directing towards the rounds of rebirth. Vibuddha is the generosity. You do the same thing, dana, but your dedication is to be free from suffering, to stop the rounds of rebirth. So dana is two types. Sila, the same thing, two types. Meditation, samatha, is the promote rounds of rebirth. Vipassana promotes stopping of rebirth. So, a little deeper to understand. And the fourth one is exerting energy to arouse wholesome action that has never arisen before. What kind of things have never arisen before? Okay, let's narrow down to our practice. Meditation practice, samatha and vipassana. You are practicing samatha. You have reached to a certain stage of stillness or calmness. Let's say you have reached to the neighborhood concentration level, which means you haven't got into jhanic level. So you have to keep trying so that something that hasn't never arisen to arise, so that the first jhanic level can be attained. If you are in the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, and all so on, you got the idea. In vipassana too, you have reached a certain degree of insight. You strive farther, harder, exert more energy, so that you can experience insights that you haven't experienced before. You exert right endeavor so that you can experience path consciousness, fruition consciousness. Those are the ones that's called exerting to arouse wholesome actions that has never arisen to arise. So, 4 kinds of exertion, and these are called right effort, right exertion, or right endeavor. So, when right exertion, with the right exertion, be mindful. You put exertion to be mindful in our practice. To be mindful and to know with precision of the meditation object from the beginning to the end without missing. Okay. You are meditating. You are mindful, you know with precision, you know the object from beginning to the end. If you have that, you have applied the right exertion. In other words, how would you know that I am doing the right exertion? Those are the points. practice mindfulness, know the object with precision from the beginning to the end, that means you have right exertion. And if you are mindful that way, you have right mindfulness. Once you have applied right exertion or right effort to establish right mindfulness, samasati, right concentration, samasamadhi, will develop concurrently. You don't need to develop concentration separate. Just simply be precisely mindful. Concentration is right there. So, the key point is right exertion. If you have that, if you meet all the requirements, you have the concentration group already. At that point, the mind stops wandering and sink and penetrate deeply into the meditation object. It's simply with the meditation object, no wandering. With correct or right concentration, the mind comes to understand the specific and general characteristics of the object, their function, their manifestation. All that you need is that right concentration. You will be experiencing those things. At that time, it will give you a full knowing or full comprehension of the object, of the situation. That full knowing, full comprehension in Pali is called sambhajanya. And if you know the object that way, that means you have the right view. You have the right view. In other words, right view of the Eightfold Noble Path. You have the wisdom group. See, all started with the right exertion, and everything fall in line. So there are three groups: morality, concentration, and wisdom. Once the three groups are properly developed, at that point, mental defilement is abandoned. If not, mental defilement is always with you all the time. But when you develop these three groups, they are abandoned. In one sentence, of course. But if you want to know a little more about abandonment, there are three stages or three levels of abandonment. One is momentary abandonment. Second one is partial abandonment. And the third one is complete abandonment. Three types or three levels of abandonment. Let's see what momentary abandonment is. When the mind is completely absorbed into the object of observation or meditation at that specific moment, it must be totally absorbed, which means you know everything beginning to the end, all the details. That moment, you have abandoned kilesa at that moment. you have abandoned mental defilements at that moment. That specific moment, because you do the perfect mindfulness called momentary abandonment, the Dinga Pahana in Pali. So, with right exertion, in other words, you keep practicing continuously, as precise as you can, every moment, and they become continuous. Okay? Once they become continuous, it means that your mental defilement is also continuous. Abandonment of mental defilement is also continuous. Every moment of right mindfulness is the every moment that you don't have mental defilements. So you keep on practicing, and it will become continuous. But the moment that you lapse, or that you forgot to note, that you forgot to observe, or when you have a gap, at that moment, that gap is instantly filled with the mental defilements. They come back. You practice, let's say, for about 5 minutes. You are continuously mindful. That means 5 minutes you are free from mental defilements. And the 6th minute, you forgot the mindfulness. Kilesa, mental defilement, come back into the gap. Of course, you have to keep on striving. As soon as your exertion, right exertion, wanes, not fail, not totally lost, wanes, the energy becomes less and less. As soon as exertion wanes, the gaps come in, and these gaps are filled with restlessness, doubts, worries, anxiety, these kind of nature. And that is due to the attack from the mental defilements. So more like a tug of war you are going on. The weapon that you have is ardent energy. Ardent energy. Ardent effort. However, don't lose your heart. However, with continuous right exertion, one will reach to a state. Okay? Even there are gaps. You're meditating for about half an hour, and there's a lapse. You forgot to be mindful. So there's a gap. Even when there's a gap, even when you fail to note or observe some moments, kilesa doesn't arise. You will come to that state. Before, as soon as there's a gap, kilesa, mental defilement, arise. Now you have pushed and pushed and pushed with ardent effort. You come to a state, even when you forgot mindfulness, even though where there is a gap, kilesa does not arise. Anxiety, doubt, worry doesn't arise. Thoughts with kilesa doesn't arise, except maybe calm and tranquility, peace, maybe, but there's no kilesa. And that state, that situation is called partial abandonment of mental defilements. First one is momentary abandonment. Now you have the partial abandonment. What is that? You practice so much, even if there are some gaps, kilesa cannot arise in these gaps anymore. There's another word for it as well. It's also called kilesa distancing. Kilesa distancing. Vikampana bahana in Pali. Vikampana bahana. The kilesa stay at a distance, it never come close to you. It doesn't come close to you. Vikampana bahana. And these yogis, at that time, they are in a state of equanimity. Okay? They are in a state of equanimity, or if you want insight level, sankharupekha jnana. For vipassana practitioner. And for samatha practitioner, they are in a quite a higher level of jhanic state. When you are in those higher jhanic state, even though you don't stay in the jhanic mode, the kilesa keeps away from them. Both samatha and vipassana can have that partial abandonment of mental defilements, kilesa. At that time, you see repulsive nature, repulsive object, you see very desirable objects, they have no effect on you. You don't get angry because of the repulsive nature. You don't crave because of the desirable nature. You are totally equanimous. Of course, you must keep that steady practicing. If you totally stop, or if you stop for some time, for a few weeks, for a few months, or if you totally stop, eventually kilesa will come back again. Because you only keep them at a distance, you don't uproot them yet. So if you stop practicing, that partial abandonment will disappear and kilesa will come back. Of course, our group is practicing pure vipassana. This vipassana, whether pure vipassana or the mixed samatha vipassana, it's a forerunner of the cultivation of the path consciousness. In other words, the immediate goal is path consciousness. You practice vipassana. The objective, to achieve, to attain path consciousness. So we call it vipassana, the forerunner of the path consciousness. And in vipassana practice, it will keep kilesa at a distance and also bring understanding of the true nature of the mind and matter. And it is always leading and heading towards a liberation. And when you reach there, you have totally and completely uprooted the mental defilements. That is the final and the third and the final stage, complete abandonment of mental defilements. When you uproot it, when you reach the path consciousness, 100% complete is the Arahata path consciousness. When you become a Arahant, you totally uprooted mental defilements, the final stage. So, the crown of this practice, Eightfold Noble Path, is the right view. That's a crown, the right view. To achieve, you require the right thoughts. Right thought or right aim. Samasankappa. And both right aim and right view belongs to the wisdom group. And to have a wisdom group, you need a concentration group. And concentration group must be built on the foundation of morality group. They are all joined, one on top of the other. So to see the realities of mind and matter, one must practice vipassana. But you must have a great desire, noble desire to practice. Noble desire to be liberated from all form of suffering. You must really see the existence of dukkha, suffering. Then you will put that kind of effort. So the key piece to success is the right exertion, right effort, right endeavor. Without effort, even simple thing, you cannot achieve it. May all of you be able to apply right exertion in your practice of satipatthana, vipassana, mindfulness insight, and attain liberation as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.